Hey everyone, my name is Navitz, twitch.tv/Navitz if you want to watch me play Dota, and right now I'm going to make a video about the other video I made from the other player's perspective. So for those of you who've seen, I have the new offlane Sven video up, and it's based on this guy right here, and I'm going to make another video right now about the Terrorblade that is having a very difficult lane against this Sven. The Sven has an incredibly good lane for himself. He gets so far ahead that he manages to get a bottle early on. So I want to watch and analyze how this Terrorblade plays and how he manages to get the farm that he does, because I'll tell you, he gets pretty decent farm at the point in the game that he gets to. I know that if I was playing the same game, I wouldn't be able to get close to that kind of farm. So we're gonna watch this and see what he does, see what kind of tricks he has up his sleeve. So notice that he has meta'd early on in the game, and he started his game with 6 tangos and 4 iron branches. When Terrorblade is up against a physical attack damage hero such as Undying or Sven, where they're going to be right clicking him, it's a good idea to have extra tangos and using the iron branches to give you health as well. If you consume an iron branch, it gives you double the health and compared to if you hadn't consumed it. So looking at this Terrorblade here, he started off after the bounty ruins, got himself a quelling blade, and now he's just going to try to last hit and get what he can out of this lane. But like I said before, this is a very, very difficult lane. In fact, he does go down early, so he's sitting with, what's his last hit count at? 2 last hits at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and this wave's pushing into his tower right now. He's coming back. He has regen. He doesn't have any salves. Instead of buying the salve, he ended up he opted for the iron branches so that he could get more regen overall, and also because he's probably going to build 2 of them into a full wand. I'm not sure about that, but that's a possibility, and he also has the option to send himself more regen. So first level, he goes meta. This lane, Undying and Sven, very, very hard to play into because Undying steals his health. Sven can just kind of bully him in lane for a little while, but we're gonna see what he manages to get out of it. And I will switch to free camera for a little bit so we can watch what the Lich does as well. At 2 minutes and 18 seconds, Lich is looking for the ward, and he finds it. There it is. So there was a ward blocking the small camp, so they weren't able to pull initially. Terrorblade has fallen behind along with the anti-mage over here, actually the enemy team anti-mage. So the enemy anti-mage is sitting on, it looks like both offlaners are having their way with the lane right now. So Sven and Beastmaster are both respectively having great games. Sven is managing to get quite a few not denies actually, but he's managing to keep Terrorblade away from his creeps so he can't get the kills. He wastes a Stormhammer on Terrorblade right there, and actually there goes another soul rip and a DK. I don't know if he got decay off, but that was enough damage to kill Terrorblade. So 2 deaths on Terrorblade, sitting at 8 last hits at 3 minutes, and this is his second Metamorphosis that he has available. We'll see what he does with it. Probably just going to use it to farm because it's going to be, like I said before, very hard to do anything against this Sven. There's the frost armor coming out. Sven getting himself very, very low. Is they going to be able to get him? He's sitting here. He doesn't have vision. He doesn't have vision. Doesn't see the Sven, and he gets out juked. He gets 1 more hit. Whew. Sven did manage to pop a clarity, and now he's walking away. The Metamorphosis has how many seconds left on that bad boy? I don't know. Not that many left, and the creep wave was pulled over here, so he's not even managing to get these creeps at the moment. They'll probably go back into him, but for now he has had an incredibly tough lane. Doesn't even have his first wraith band yet, just sitting basically on a quelling blade and a stout shield. Now for those of you who give up and stop playing early when you play, I hate you, but this should be an indication to you, this game at least should be an indication to you that you don't need to give up all the time. Just because your lane is rough at the beginning doesn't mean there's not a way out of it. It might mean that you don't know a way to get out of a rough lane, but players like this Terrorblade, I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna find a way to get himself in a position that will maybe give him the opportunity to win the game. I'm gonna spoil it a little bit because you guys have all seen the last video, or if you haven't, the last video was about offlane Sven, and offlane Sven just freaking crushes this game. He gives his anti-mage enough space, but the Terrorblade could have found a way to win this game. Like, it wasn't impossible, and it seemed like it while I was watching the whole time. I was watching this game, and this Terrorblade looked like he had fallen so far behind that he was just gonna get run over for the rest of the game, like chased down in his jungle. They lose this lane so hard that I didn't think there was a way for him to recover. So we're gonna watch his farming patterns, watch what he does, see how patiently he plays, where he plays. He's sitting at 2 deaths, I believe, right now. Is that where we're at right now? Where is kills, deaths, and assists? Yeah, our Terrorblade is sitting at 2 deaths, and our net worth, where is he at? In the net worth chart, he is actually 4th. Actually, not as bad as I thought, but Sven is clearly in the forefront here. He is managing to beat out the anti-mage right now, but not by much. So he has his skill build going right now. He did not get any points in reflection. A lot of people get reflection early, and I used to get it more than I would get conjure image. But on Terrorblade, I realized that this is a mistake I've been making, because I never really thought about how effective conjure image could be for getting last hits in lane. Obviously, I know that conjure image is good for getting last hits against creeps, but I didn't realize how good it was in lane. Conjure image actually helps you quite a bit when you're trying to last hit with an illusion rather than not having one. So he's kind of sacked this lane. He's used his Metamorphosis here. Notice that every time meta is off cooldown, he's using it. So he used his Metamorphosis. He's farming as fast as he can with his meta. He's going to take this creep camp here and just continue using his illusions to farm down here and sack this lane immediately. So Sven's at level 4, and he knows that he can't save this tower anymore. Nothing he can do about it. He's in the jungle, and this is his path to recovery. So he's sitting on 3 Wraith Bands with no boots yet. I would have thought that he would have got 2 Wraith Bands and boots. If I was playing this, that's what I would have done. And I'm guessing the decision to go for 3 over 2 is because he thinks he's going to be in the jungle for a long time, and he knows that if he needs to fight, he's so far behind right now that a Wraith Band actually gives him the ability to fight in some capacity, whereas if he got boots, he could probably just run away, and maybe not even that, because he runs slower when he's meted, and he probably doesn't want to fight if he's not meted. If he doesn't have meta, he's not looking to fight, he's looking to farm. That's what Terrorblade does. Let's speed it up a tiny bit. We're going to continue watching his farming patterns. We're going to go to 1.5 times speed and see how he gets himself back into this. So he is actually at level 6 right now with a healthy amount of farm considering what happened. The Sven is about 1.2k ahead of him, 1.3k, which is a lot for 7 minutes. But the Terrorblade is managing to get something, and now he's going to make his way bottom because Sven is overextended. He's sitting over here. He gets 1 reflection off, and it doesn't manage to do anything to Sven. He's going to go back to lane, pick up the creeps where he can. One thing to understand is that this Terrorblade, if he can be in lane, that's where he's gonna be. He's not leaving his lane because the jungle is better. Jungle is significantly worse than being in the lane. The only reason he's staying there at all is because he has to be there. He's forced out by Sven, and he's not even feeling confident enough to go up here and farm this wave. He's sending it over, or he's using his conjure image to farm it, obviously. Now he's continuing to farm with conjure image, getting himself boots, using his meta once again. That's the fourth time. That's his 4th meta already. Used it pretty much every single time it was up, and he's using it to farm ancient camps. Do not be shy to use Metamorphosis to farm. Especially if you don't intend on fighting. If you can't push, which a lot of the times you can't, like when you have a level 7 Sven who's got a bottle and almost a Vanguard already, or almost a Vladimir's offering already, you probably can't fight into him, especially as a Terrorblade, as the low level Terrorblade, even with Metamorphosis, because he will Stormhammer you. This guy will freaking decay you, and you know, other stuff could happen. But that was the lane situation he got put in. That was the lane situation he got put in, but he hasn't given up. He hasn't started following, or he hasn't started flaming or griefing or doing anything crazy like that yet, which I'm happy to see, because I wasn't sure what to expect from this game the first time I watched it, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how well this This Terrorblade dealt with adversity. So now at this point in the game, he's not even at this bottom part of the map at all. This should be the lane that he's trying to find some farm in normally. But he's left that to Dazzle. And over here, Shadow Fiend's taking some of the ancient farm. He's going to come up here, try to farm these 3 camps for a little while, and maybe use his next Metamorphosis to push. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to use it to push or not. We're going to wait and see. He might just continue to farm. He's building up. He's trying to build up his Yasha, but his farm is pretty okay at the moment, considering, once again, how bad things have gone. Sven manages to take down the tier 2 tower, which is unfortunate for him in every which way. But since he took down that tier 2 tower, Terrorblade knows that there's a whole bunch of creeps that are coming over here. So he's using his he's just maxing out his farming efficiency in lane and not going up here to fight in this battle. He knows he's got nothing to do with that battle. He just wants to farm, and he doesn't even want to go over here. He's going to send his conjure images while he makes his way where is he going to go? Back to base to get mana apparently, and maybe he's going to go use his meta to take another set of ancients, or to take an ancient stack if it exists. And we'll actually see what happens there. So Terrorblade teleports, was looking to see if he can make something happen here, but there's nothing available. Goes right back to the jungle, and will probably send another set of conjure images, illusions down here. Instead of that, actually, he's not going to the bottom lane at all. So notice he doesn't feel like this is safe in the bottom half of the jungle anywhere here. He doesn't want to fight because everyone's getting owned mid lane. He knows he's not strong enough to fight, so he's patiently waiting and patiently farming up his Yasha, and he will turn that into a Manta as soon as he can. Now, I also like the option of going Manta before going Dragonlance. Some people like Dragonlance before Manta. I don't know which one's better. I guess it depends if you're pushing frequently or not, what you're doing with your Metamorphosis. If you're in a lot of battles, I don't know. I think that the going Yasha Dragonlance would be better, but if you're looking to farm and push, or escape and survive, then your Manta is better. They're trying to make a play over here. Winter Wyvern throws down the curse, and he ends up killing his own teammate. So that's unfortunate. And once again, you can see that this bottom half of the map is occupied, but he has used his meta again. So this is, I think, his fifth meta of the game. And once again, using it to farm ancients. Now he's going to walk over here, kill these creeps with his illusions, and go to this ancient camp while taking this mid farm here too. So maximum farming efficiency for a guy who had 2 last hits in the first minute and 30 seconds. He hasn't been able to do that. Like, he has not been able to maintain this level, or he has not been able to get a good start in this game whatsoever. And he's continuously pressured. He's died how many times? He's died twice, but when we look at his net worth, he's making his way up there because he's farming so many camps so frequently. His illusions are farming lanes, or his illusions are usually farming lanes if he's farming jungle, and he's using meta every time to take ancient camps early. And with this Yasha and 3 Wraith Bands, this is very, very easy to do with Terrorblade. If you don't have this set, by the way, with Terrorblade, this option selects all controlled units, and this option here in advanced hotkeys select all other units. That selects all of your illusions, so you can set that hotkey for yourself to make it easier to control your illusions if you haven't been doing that. Just checking out this fight, so notice that he hasn't gone to make an offensive play at all this game. It's been 16 minutes and 11 seconds, and he hasn't even thought of doing anything offensive. He doesn't want to come up. He's barely doing anything defensive either. Now that there's nobody in this lane, he can basically see every hero. Let's change this Fog Award to be Radiant side. Now that he can see where all the heroes are, he knows he's safe to push this tower up here, but he doesn't even want to do that. He just wants to continue farming. He literally didn't even care about that right there. He knew he had Beastmaster. He's sending his illusions. He's back to farming, and he's farming the enemy's jungle while Sven's punching his tower high ground. He can't do anything until he has Manta, and this is why I thought this game was so terribly over when I watched it. They've got Sven, Kunkka, and Anti-Mage all about to be at the top of the net worth, and they're going to go ahead and take down this tier 3 tower. Roar goes down. They still don't manage to do anything. They can't kill Sven. Look how freaking strong he is, and there's that last shadow raise from the Shadow Fiend, and they do kill Sven, his first death, and this is their opportunity to turn this back around. Terrorblade, did he just meta? No, he meted earlier. He's back. He meted to defend, sends his illusions to the wave, and now he's going to go push with his main hero. So this is a thing that you have to do. If there's nobody in the wave, make sure you're pushing the wave. If you don't push the wave, then your lanes are going to get pushed in, and you're going to be, somebody on your team is going to be forced to teleport back, or it might even be yourself, or you're just going to accidentally lose a lane if you're super low MMR and can't notice something like that. All right, so now they did manage to turn this around over here. They got the tier 3 tower. Don't know if it was fully worth, but they did manage to get the tier 3 tower, and they were able to kill the Sven, get the Aegis, and continue farming on Terrorblade. They don't want to continue pushing here. It is 19 minutes and 4 seconds, and again, this Terrorblade has not done one offensive thing in the game. We're gonna look at the game stats after this game to see everything that he did on Dota buff, but he has not done anything offensive in terms of gameplay. We'll watch his build, we'll see what skills he clicked, we'll see what talent trees he's taking. He takes the 20% movement speed instead of the evasion, by the way. I thought this might have been an evasion game with anti-mage, but it is not. So he's pushing. Or sorry, Sven, where did Sven go? Not Sven, where's Terrorblade? Terrorblade's mid, there's a fight that's breaking out, and he's decided now that he has Aegis and he got the Dragon Lance, it's now time for him to fight. He went for the Dragon Lance after the Manta because he has Aegis and he knows it's going to be time to push soon, and when Terrorblade is pushing, he wants to have the extra attack range to be able to hit the towers without having to go uphill or get any closer than he needs to be. Kunkka's down, their mid Kunkka, and Winter Wyvern's down. This is their opportunity to make something happen, and Beastmaster has been having himself a game. It's not like Beastmaster hasn't been doing well at all. He had a good off lane. He's starting to taper off and fall off now, but they're going to be able to make stuff happen. So Sven comes in, stuns the Beastmaster. There's the heal from the Dazzle. Dazzle keeping him alive. Terrorblade still just donking stuff down with his incredibly powerful illusions. Oh, shoot. That was a big play right there. There goes the Sunder. Oh, I kind of wish I slowed this down a little bit. There goes the Sunder. Sven comes in, stuns the Terrorblade, comes down bottom, looks at the Shadow Fiend, and Terrorblade takes his opportunity after the Sven stun to teleport out. High level plays right there. Doesn't waste the Aegis. Knows he has the teleport. Knows that they wasted the X. Knows that they wasted the Storm Hammer. Knows that Anti-Mage probably can't stop him. I don't think Anti-Mage could stop him. And he makes himself out. Terrorblade, my friend, he's actually now brought himself to the top of the net worth. So for somebody who hasn't been and it seems effortless, guys. Like, this is really the point of the game that I wanted to get to. We're gonna go on and continue describing this game, but this was the point of the game that I wanted to get to, where most players would have given up 10 times over in this game. They wouldn't have been able to find any safe farm, and they would have made really dumb aggressive mistakes. Played back, stayed away from any aggressive pushes, kept himself always in range to get farm, but every time meta was up, he was on Ancients or fighting, but primarily farming. This Terrorblade got himself back into this game. And now they are... Oh, did he manage to dodge that? No, he didn't. I thought he managed to dodge the boat. Didn't manage to dodge the boat, but they're still very strong right now. And it looks like he gets the kill on the Kunkka. Beastmaster's gone down. Lich has gone down. He's not going to be able to kill Sven because Sven's a freaking beast. Has the Aegis still available. They're getting donked by that tombstone. And there goes Shadow Fiend. Terrorblade's still not down. He gets hit with the shallow grave. Comes in. Sunders? Is he gonna get another kill? Come on, my boy Terrorblade. I know you got the Aegis. Do something else. Whew. I thought he had more going for him. Let's see if he dies one more time or if he makes a play. He does have meta up. So casts Reflection, casts Metamorphosis, casts Manta, and is taking a ton of damage. So I don't know if he's going to chase this down, but he has managed to almost single-handedly stay in this fight, albeit with an Aegis of Immortality. He has managed to stay in this fight. Look how little his right-click damage does to Sven when he uses Warcry. Oh my god, with Warcry and Crimson Guard, every right-click coming out of this Terrorblade basically does nothing. Oh, Anti-Mage messed up. Oh! No, Anti-Mage blinked forward. He messed up, but he didn't get killed. And you know, he's still playing that offense, or sorry, he's still playing his Terrorblade game, not taking any significant risks. So he knows that meta's about to expire. He's headed back towards the jungle while his illusions head out to farm again. Down here, I don't know. I hate these prowlers because they're gonna root him, but luckily he has Manta. Yeah, he's been waiting for them to root him. He's got the Manta. He's got the farm over here coming out of the illusions. He doesn't care about Sven, and he's gonna try to farm as much as he can with Shadow Fiend trying to catch up as well. Now, this is one of the first times. Is he gonna do it? No, he's not. I assumed that Terrorblade was going to go up here and try to farm this, but instead of going there, he's gonna walk back to base right now. So he's walking back to base. Is he gonna go all the way to base? No, he's not. So he thought he needed to go to base. I think he was a little indecisive there and didn't manage to get anything, but he knows he doesn't really have a lot to do until the 25-minute mark. Most of the jungle is farmed, and now that he's cast his illusions to go into this lane and his Manta illusions to go down into this lane, he's guaranteed to get himself all of this farm, and now he goes back to get himself his full mana, full HP, and come out ready to fight. Picked himself up the rest of the Scotty, so we're at 25 minutes. That Terrorblade, who wasn't able to get anything in his lane, who wasn't able to farm, who wasn't able to even jungle properly because he was getting so much pressure put on him, has managed to get himself a Scotty, a Dragonlance, a Manta, a Wraith Band, another Wraith Band at 25 minutes. And this is the key to victory, apparently, playing Terrorblade. Farm, farm, farm. Don't let people find you. Don't let people find you. Send your illusions to lane. Don't let people find you. Crush them with the weight of a steel hammer on their heads. And when I say the weight of a steel hammer, I obviously mean his Metamorphosis. I was actually very surprised to see him come over here. Was there a fight breaking out? He's also saved multiple heroes with this with his Sunder. Actually, that got him killed, didn't it? Woo! It did get him killed. He came, saved the Shadow Fiend, and ended up getting himself killed. All right, anti-mage over here just doing anti-mage things. It's still not 100% over, but to be honest, his team has also had a very rough game, and this Shadow Fiend just doesn't have nearly enough farm to be effective right now. Has not snowballed the way he needed to. Let's speed this up a little bit because we really only care about Terrorblade right now. It's Terrorblade Terrorblade gameplay. Go forward a little bit more. See what happens. All right, they're just pushing his wave, and they managed to take 2 lanes of racks, and I think this game is just about, oh no, not yet, but it's ending soon. All right, go back to Terrorblade, sends his illusions up to lane over down here. All right, we're not going to finish this off. We're going to go to this Dota buff, and we're going to check out this game that I've been talking about. All right, my boys and girls, this is it. Our Dota buff game that I was watching earlier. It is based on this Sven that I really wanted to show everyone, who ended up going 12-1, and then the anti-mage ended up going 12-1. But the anti-mage also didn't have a great lane. A 17-minute Battle Fury and a 22-minute Manta style are not absurd in any way. But when you look at his items, the Terrorblade, a 17-minute Manta and an 18-minute Dragonlance and then a 25-minute Scotty, they went on a streak there, and he put himself in a position to win the game. He got 617 GPM. He had 5 kills, 5 deaths, 5 assists, and a ton of net worth. His net worth is third to Anti-Mage and Sven. I didn't realize Sven was this far ahead of him. So he's done an incredibly great job for himself this game. Do we need to? I want to go into this Terrorblade build. How can I do this? I don't know what his item build was. I don't know exactly what his item build was, but over here, or his skill build, and the rest of his item build, I don't know, but he went standard. He went with the Power Treads, the Manta, the Scotty, and the Dragonlance. Dragonlance, his next item probably in that game would have been, who was he up against? Oof, tough call. I actually don't know what his next item would be. In lane, he didn't go with this skill build. His most popular skill build, Terrorblade's most popular skill build, is the Metamorphosis into Reflection. Reflection used to slow a lot more. I don't think it slows anymore, does it? Yeah, it does. It slows 20%, so it still slows. It lets you get a couple extra right clicks off, and then you go into conjure image for level 4. Depending on this depends early on. Like you can interchange this a little bit. Usually it's always meta first. Yeah, so his item build, actually butterfly was probably the item that he's gonna get next. Yeah, against this team, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up getting a butterfly as his next item if this game was to continue. Heroes that this anti-mage is best versus. Heroes that this Terrorblade is best versus. Anti-mage. He's good versus anti-mage because anti-mage can't blink on him very well. Terrorblade out damages him. He can't blink into a fight because Terrorblade has reflection, which will create an illusion of anti-mage that also has his mana burn and will burn his own mana, so he can't blink away later or use other spells. He's also good. He's pretty good against a lot of heroes. I didn't really realize he was this good against Chaos Knight. I haven't had that experience. Bad against heroes who do spell damage. If you take a look at the heroes that he's bad against, Timbersaw is like one of the worst laning opponents for Terrorblade. Batrider is incredibly strong against him, and I hate playing Terrorblade into Tinker because Tinker can just run him down so often. Like he can chase him down, his march, his laser for his illusions, his rockets. It's just so much magic damage coming out of Tinker, and that's Terrorblade's biggest problem is magic damage. Looking at his meta, no, we'll do that in a second. Looking at his talent usage, so you almost always go, not almost always, but yeah, you almost always go with the 20% movement speed. 250 health versus 25 attack speed is pretty difficult. It depends if you're dying or not. If you're dying with, if you're finding yourself where 250 health would keep you alive long enough to let you sunder, you should go with the health. If not, go with the attack speed. 10 to all stats or -8 seconds reflection cooldown. I personally prefer the -8 second reflection cooldown. It used to be -10. And then -35 seconds sunder or +300 metamorphosis attack range. The attack range I think is usually better in most cases. Meta trends this week. What you got, Terrorblade? Where are you at? Terrorblade this week he's sitting around 50%. So he's actually a very strong carry, but he's only sitting at about 50% and even a little bit lower in Divine and Immortal. And I'm guessing that's probably because people counter him. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure why his win rate's not higher. Everyone's been saying that he's incredibly strong right now. So I was actually expecting to see a higher, I don't know, a 52 to 53% win rate on Terrorblade. The way people have been talking about him in the Immortal / Divine bracket. This is kind of like, okay. And then down here, most people don't know how to play Terrorblade. He's he's a very hard hero to play right and micro properly. But yeah, that's it. That's how you take a game and not give up. I don't know. I guess I'll do a quick summary on the 3 most important things that this Terrorblade did this game. We'll go back to the beginning so I can just point it out. So over here, I think his starting items are important, but not one of the most important, but this is important. Just pay attention. Going six tangos with the branches, it's really good. It's really good, but the important things in this lane is the time that he leaves the lane, how he plays against this Sven. So I have the match ID up for this game. If you end up watching it and you watch his positioning, watch where he positions himself against this Undying and this Sven. He ends up getting killed twice, but basically around the 5-minute mark, he decides to abandon the lane because he knows if he goes back to it, it's completely over. Where are you? Move forward a little bit more. 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes. So I think this is the last time Terrorblade's in lane, getting these couple of last hits. The 5-minute catapult wave comes out here, and this is where he completely abandons. So catapult wave is here. He knows Sven's coming. I don't know if he knows Sven's coming, but he's abandoned lane at this point and decided to use his metamorphosis when it was up to farm jungle. Again, second thing that's very, 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 very important is the metamorphosis to farm the jungle. This is how he got himself back into the game. He wouldn't be able to have the farm he did or farm as well as he did if he didn't use his metamorphosis. He used it to farm, and he used it he used it to farm every single time it was off cooldown. The first 5 times he used Metamorphosis. It was only afterwards that he started using it strategically for fights because he needed to save it. But early on, all he was thinking was, I need farm, we're super behind, I need farm, this Sven's wrecking me, I need farm, I gotta get farm, I gotta get farm. He's just in farm mode. Okay, so leaving the lane at 5 minutes is important. Using Metamorphosis every single time the ancients were available and Metamorphosis was available is the second thing. And then I guess the third main thing, or the third most important thing about how he kept himself in this game, is by not being aggressive or offensive at all. He did not one time go and push this bottom tower. He didn't even try to hit it. He never rotated to this lane. He never crossed this part of the map right here for the first 15, 20, I don't know exactly how many minutes it was, but for a while he did not cross this part of the map. When I would have come to farm this area, or maybe this area, or I would have gone over here to try to get some farm when it felt dire, or there was 30 seconds to wait before the camps respawned, he did not put himself in a position to die again. So he just waited patiently, kept himself in the game, and took the opportunity when it presented himself. When they overextended high ground the very first time they came, as we watched, they were able to make something happen. They used the meta, they got the Roshan, and they were in a position at that point to possibly win the game. Now, it didn't happen, obviously, but with an Aegis and a Terrorblade who's getting pretty decent farm on his way to top of the net worth, out farming an anti-mage, I wouldn't be too upset about my positioning in the game. Unfortunately, his other heroes, you know, his mid kind of got owned a little bit. And that's, you know, that's just kind of the way it went. And Kunkka's so freaking strong right now. But yeah, that's the Terrorblade guide, guys. I mean, not guide, gameplay video, walkthrough, whatever you want to call it. There you go. It's the opposite version of the Sven guide. So if you guys watch the video on Sven, the offlane Sven, this is the version of the Terrorblade, who also had himself a spectacular game considering how bad the game was. If you guys are interested in watching me play Dota or just watching some fun Dota content, twitch.tv/Navitz. If you want to comment, talk about this video down in the comments section, go ahead and do that. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.